welcome back to my channel. We're here for the next installment of Read and React, which is going to be Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Now, if Chamber of Secrets, sorry, I was out of breath. If Chamber of Secrets is my least favorite book, this one's still not my favorite, but this is my favorite movie. The movie to this book has always been my favorite, mainly because of the way that it's shot and everything, and it's just...
it's the best.
Even though there are some things that are left out, like the Marauders. Everybody always comments about the Marauders, but there are quite a few things that I've got in my notes here. Almost every single note that I took is highlighted. Like almost all of them. So there are quite a few things in this book that do not make it into the adaptation, so I'm going to talk about those. But overall, I think I'm going to give this more, like a better score than Chamber of Secrets. I'm trying not to be biased, but when we get into some of the later movies, I will definitely be biased more towards the books than the film. I think it's mainly because I love this film so much that I would want to give it like all of the stars, but I can't, obviously. A lot of people have problems with this book because it deals with time travel, and so time travel for me in this universe makes so much sense. I understand that, you know, it's just a loop. Like, you can't change the past. It's pretty much that you can't change the past. Everything that's happened to you in the past, when you go back into the past, was already gonna happen in your future anyway, so to me, it makes sense. Unlike,
some other things.
So, yeah. Prisoner of Azkaban, we're gonna kick it off and we're gonna go with that. So, just gonna set it right there in its usual place and let's get into my favorite film. Off the bat, I love this. I love this shot. I love everything about it, except I don't like that Harry is using magic outside of school. He knows that he's not supposed to because he got a letter in the last one. It is a big deal. Like, you are not supposed to use magic outside of school. He would not be using magic outside of school just to read his little book. Granted, in the book, he is reading a book and learning how to do magic, but he's reading it with a torch, which is a flashlight. It's a beautiful shot. Like, I love it. It's great. It's how you get into the title. It's so beautiful, but...
No.
This is where we, like, skip half of the summer. And I'm gonna have to refer to my notes. Harry gets a bunch of letters, and there's a telephone call from Ron, which does not go over well with the Dursleys. And the sneakoscope makes its first appearance. That is like a big thing in the book. He gets his Hogsmeade letters, which is what he talks to Vernon about. Sirius even makes the Muggle news. I think that's everything up until this point. Like, most of the summer has already been skipped. I don't know, for adaptation-wise, the only thing that really would have been a big deal was having Sirius on the Muggle news. I think I would have enjoyed having that in this. Otherwise, it's great.
What did you say? My dad wasn't a drunk.
I want to say that this harassment and conversation happens in two different dinners where they talk about his dad in one and his mom in another, but it's fine. I love it like this. I love this scene. It's so good.
You see it all the time with dogs.
If there's something wrong with the bitch, then there's something wrong with the pup.
Shut up!
Like, who wouldn't get mad at that?
Well, I guess people who don't like their mom, but...
Never mind.
I would love to show this, but I'm not even giving you any commentary. It's so good. This whole sequence is so good. I can't. Yes! This movie is so superior. Like, that is so good. Like, that's how you hook your audience. It's been 6 minutes. Now, I will comment, like, how angry he is in this one. I wish that there was more anger in the 5th one than just this. This makes it look like this is his height of his anger. The 5th one should have been so much worse. Okay, it's just... That sets the tone that this movie is going to be creepy. My name is Stan Sean Point, and I'll be your conductor for this evening. Okay, Stan is supposed to be like 18 or 19. I'm okay that they aged him up like a lot.
What did you say your name was again?
Neville Longbottom.
I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Now, why is it just a ride too? There's so many things in this series that could be a ride. I don't understand why it's not.
Don't tell me you've never been here in a Sirius Black.
In the book, Stan actually tells him what he got locked up for. And so that's where it starts with the rumors of what the world thinks that Sirius was guilty of his crime and what his crime was and stuff. So he actually finds out what it is early on. I don't know. Now that I think about it, I kind of like that he doesn't find out what the truth is yet. Because, like, I think in the book, at the beginning, he only finds out that he killed, like, 12 people. And then he finds out later about Peter Pettigrew and stuff. And then he finds out the real truth later. So it's, like, 3 different levels. It's the gummy walnut! In the first book, Tom is said to be a gummy walnut. I mean, rather than just being a bald guy with, like, no teeth, he had hair and he was fine in the first one, and then the third one, this is the interpretation of a gummy walnut. I don't care. I don't care.
I don't understand.
Understand?
I broke the law. Underage wizards aren't allowed to use magic at home.
Yeah, but you did in the second year and you didn't even get a letter for it, so why does it even matter? I mean, the world building in these series makes no sense.
Oh, these are your new school books. I took the liberty of having them brought here for you.
I mean, that's fine, but he spends like 2 weeks at Diagon Alley, and he goes and he gets all of his stuff, and he becomes friends with all of the shopkeepers. The ice cream man, whose name starts with an F that I can't remember what his name is, like Floridian or Fawcett or something. He gets free ice creams, and it's a fun time. Those 2 weeks are a fun time. But I understand, you know, you want to get the movie rolling and condensed down, and you don't want to kill the pacing, so I get it. As the Monster Book of Monsters, he actually gets as a birthday present. It's a cute scene. I'm not gonna complain too much about it. And then you get the first sense of Scabbers and Crookshanks, so it's good. It replaces a little bit of the scene that's in the book, which is when she buys Crookshanks, so it's fine.
Looks more like a pig with hair, if you ask me.
That's rich, coming from the owner of that smelly old shoe brush. You're right, Crookshanks. You just ignore the mean little boy.
Harry.
Harry's like, just my 2 best friends. Fighting! Wouldn't have it any other way. I think the only thing about Scabbers that bothers me in this is that you can see that he starts to lose a lot of weight and he loses his hair. The only clue that you get that something's wrong with Scabbers is that Crookshanks is trying to kill him, and then he goes missing. Now, this part's weird, because Arthur doesn't get the chance to tell this to Harry by his choice. Harry overhears Arthur telling Molly that Arthur wants to tell Harry, but Molly doesn't want to, and then Harry overhears it, and then he pulls Arthur aside and finds out all this conversation. So I am absolutely okay with it being condensed. Like I said, a lot of the first part of this movie is very condensed to like get the ball rolling, and I'm okay with it. As far as adaptation goes, I am personally okay with the way that this film is.
That's why it's my favorite.
Since Arthur works for the Ministry, he knows that Sirius was saying he's at Hogwarts over and over and over again. And so that's the reason why they think he's going to come after Harry instead of, you know, Pettigrew, which he saw Pettigrew in the family photo when they show the Daily Prophet to Harry. He saw that version of the Daily Prophet, and that's the reason why he left, because he saw Peter on the cover of it. You don't ever find that out. You do not find out how Sirius knew that Peter was going to be at Hogwarts. You kind of have to like string that part together, so. And this shot, just long takes. Long takes are my favorite things. Almost all of my favorite movies have long takes in them that I absolutely just love. The way that it's a long take and then it plays with the light and sorry. Now, Neville and Ginny are also in this compartment with them. Like, it is a full compartment. Wow, we are speeding through this. Jesus.
Love it.
The creepiness factor, this whole scene.
Someone's coming.
It is so good. I love it. Rupert and his faces. And also the thought of the Dementors being like symbols of depression or metaphors of depression. Oh my god. That just puts like a whole new level to them, and they are so creepy. I also think the design of them in this movie is a hell of a lot better than in the 5th movie. I don't know, something about them looks weird in the 5th movie. I cannot be mad at this chorus. I love it. And the song, like these are some things, like changes that I absolutely love. Cauldron, bubble, something wicked this way comes. Like it sets the tone so well.
Welcome to
Now,
another year at Hogwarts.
Michael Gambon as Dumbledore. I feel like him in this film, this particular film, is probably the Dumbledore that I love and that I want. I don't know. His character kind of like changes throughout the whole series. Yes, I'm talking about the Comley and the other stuff, but I don't know. The way that he does Dumbledore in this film has always been my favorite. He's not like Richard Harris where he's like a little slow in his talking and stuff and being calm and everything, but I don't need him to be that calm and like slow. I like him at this pace.
But
you know, happiness can be found even in the darkness of times.
But only remember
To turn on the light. I love it. It's just so tone setting.
I love this movie so much!
It's just that you have a great director behind it. It is like cinematic wise. And I love this.
I love the fat lady!
Yes! Amazing! Top of my voice!
For tune-up major.
Yes, alright, come in.
Like, this is what I want my fat lady to be, because, I mean, maybe not to this extent, but in the book, like, she's sassy, and her friend Violet get drunk half the time. Oh, look, there's a ghost! I completely forgot about that ghost. And, like, scenes like this are so good, because up until this point, Seamus and Dean have been, like, pretty much left out. And they kind of do get shafted throughout the whole series. I mean, hell, even Neville. Neville's only got a little bit more screen time. I don't know about you, but like, this is what I do with my friends. Maybe not eat this weird candy, but seeing actual moments of school and friendship outside of just like your knit friends is so good. I love it. And especially when it sets up how divided they are all going to be within the next couple of films. With the exception of Neville, Harry's got beef with everybody else in that dorm. And the clocks, oh my god. I'm sorry, everything about this movie is so good. Alfonso Cuarón is a genius. Okay, I will say that they don't give Trelawney enough credit because in the books, she makes a shit ton of predictions. Hey guys, it's Editing Lex here. I just wanted to cut in because this section right here with the Talons and Tea Leaves chapter and all of the Trelawney stuff, I talked for so long I actually had to stop the movie to be able to discuss everything. So I'm just gonna paraphrase what I said. What I said was that, you know, Trelawney is the seer. She has predicted so much stuff, but then even Ron and Harry predict stuff in the books as well. For this book specifically, Harry is actually the one that tells Ron that he's going to suffer and he's going to be happy about it. And then Ron tells him that there's a bit like a blob of a bowler hat and that he may go to work for the Ministry, which is not wrong. He becomes an Auror. And then he says that there's an acorn and that he's going to fall into a bunch of gold, which is not wrong because he wins the Triwettus Tournament in the next book. So there's a lot of actual truth to all of it. And so a lot of it got cut, and it's, I don't know, it's endearing. I really like it better in the books. So there's that. I wish it was in this. It would be great. Okay, back to the video. Okay, who is this kid? Can somebody, I think one of my big qualms is who is that kid? I would like to know. Does anybody know? I looked on his IMDb page and he's just Boy 1. He has no name because he has no purpose in the story. Now, I'm all for diversity and I'm glad that this random black kid's in it. That's great. Diversity. Here we go. But why not give it to Dean, who is already there and who is already a black kid in Harry's class. There's only 5 boys in his grade. We all just saw a scene with all 5 of them. Where the f did this random Gryffindor kid come from? I just think it should have been Dean. That's all I gotta say.
Dementor, Dementor!
Now, I'm not going to lie. Whenever I graduated with my master's degree in London, my graduation robes had that, and I love that scene because I did it. Insert me there. But that is taken away from a later scene after Harry already knows how to do the Patronus charm. They go out there onto the Quidditch pitch and they try to scare him like that during the Ravenclaw game, I think. And so he uses Patronus for the first time and he creates a corporal Patronus for the first time. I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna stop myself because yes, I do believe that it was a corporal Patronus because Lupin does says that was quite a Patronus because he saw the stag and he knows what it is. Harry just can't see it because he's sitting there and trying to do whatever. He's flying, he can't see it, it's fine. But even though that part of the book isn't in the film, at least they had the decency to like mention or like give a nod to that portion of the book, even though you don't see it. It's really nice. I really enjoy that, so yay. Also, in the book, I'm pretty sure Harry, like, actually volunteers because he feels bad because no one else is going to volunteer, so he volunteers. He's not, like, forced to volunteer. But see, look, oh, you've got all of the little touches and stuff. Like, Hermione and Ron, as a couple, are, like, there's little seeds. Them liking each other, it's there. Even in the book, it's there. And even another great shot. I'm telling you, this movie is beautiful. And it's also really good because you don't see Hermione in this at all until she speaks.
No one knows.
When'd she get here?
And that's when Ron's like, what the f? In the book, it's a little bit more obvious that she's got something going on because she always looks so tired and so disheveled. I'm pretty sure at one point she like passes out in the common room. She is so exhausted from all of her classes and stuff. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I just thought of the behind the scenes detail is that Michael Gambon had put a fart noise machine in Dan's sleeping bag, and every time he'd get closer, he would press the button and it would go off. Why am I thinking of that right now? I don't know. Every time I see this scene, that's what I think about. That and like all of the behind the scenes dancing and like Alan Rickman just smiling and all this stuff. Oh, it's so good. And I love how the Whomping Willow is used to show the passage of time and the different seasons. It's just like I'm letting go of all of my leaves.
Turn to page 394.
You know what would be really cool is if you actually did turn to page 394 in this book and you found out like something very interesting. Oh shit! 394 in this book is whenever they go back in time. It's just so visually stunning. Part of me wishes that Alfonso Cuarón did all of the films. I've gone on for so long like praising this film. That's not to say that there's not good stuff in the other films. It's just that this one as a whole film is amazing rather than having just good spots here or there. I love how they take like individual strolls. I don't remember if this is one whole conversation in the book rather than split up into 2, but I think I like it because it's a nice setting rather than just sitting in the room and being like, you know, teacher and pupil. I don't know, I think it's just like it grounds their relationship together in a really, really nice way. That way they're just not static and sitting in an office talking. It's more dynamic that they're walking around and they're actually like building this relationship. I really love it.
Guys, let me go.
Clever, Harry.
But not clever enough.
Also, what in the flying would possess Fred and George to give him that map? I guess they feel bad for him and they don't really need it anymore because they do know all of it, but out of all people, Harry? I don't know. Maybe it's just a personal problem that I have. Now, it says Messrs. Mooney, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs, and that right there is the reverse order in which they all die. If you never noticed that, I just shattered the glass. If you have noticed it, we're on the same level. I do love the introduction to Hogsmeade too. And I love that he picks on Neville. Neville always says, why is it always me? It is literally always him.
Now,
Tell me what this is all about.
Now, I'm okay that Hagrid and I think Flitwick maybe is not in this conversation. In the book, McGonagall, Fudge, Madame Rosmerta, Hagrid, and maybe Flitwick, I don't remember, they're sitting there having this conversation out in the open in the middle of the bar or in the pub. I like that they go upstairs and they make this a more of a confidential conversation, because this should be a very confidential conversation, and so it's a hell of a lot better having this and Harry hearing it like this rather than hearing all the information while he's underneath the table next to them. That makes no damn sense.
Sirius Black was and remains to this day Harry Potter's godfather.
And see, like, that right there is the killer of the information. So I understand, like, from the beginning, it's fine that he doesn't get a lot of information. He just knows that he's a murderer. He doesn't know, like, the extent of it. I don't know. Both ways, in the book and the film, the way that they deliver that information is really good. I really enjoy it. I like that the conversation is more confidential, and I also like that Ron and Hermione are not there with him, because I feel like it's more intimate of a showing, and then he's able to, like, release everything. So I don't know, I like it better. Like I said, I love this film, so I think it was a great choice to have the whole sequence different. I like that he is able to get the information alone, and he's able to process it alone before he has to talk to his friends about it. Now, is it just me, or is this Dumbledore's office? Because I can't tell, and it is throwing me off, because it looks like Dumbledore's office rather than just a random classroom that they were in the book. Now, this part's always weird. And so I think there's this theory that says that everyone can be found on the map except for the Marauders, which would make so much sense. So he wouldn't have been able to see Peter Pettigrew on there. And so it's a different way of telling the story, because Harry knows that Peter Pettigrew is dead, and so if you see him on the map, it makes sense that you would be able to see him. It makes sense from a storytelling position that you want to be able to leave breadcrumbs and you want to see Peter Pettigrew and stuff, but it leaves open the big plot hole of, if Fred and George had the map for so long, how come they wouldn't have been able to see him on the map? Like, how would they not know that he was sleeping with Ron the entire time? There would have been so many questions. And then there's like just big ass jump in time. The whole time frame between Christmas and all of this is really weird, because all this is supposed to take place in the summer, and it looks more like it takes place in like February or March. I don't know. Maybe it was just me. That's what I get the feeling. You foul, loathsome, evil little cockroach!
Hermione, no! He's not worth it.
No, he's not, but boy does it feel good. Yes! Granted, in the book she slaps him, but out of all of the times that Draco actually gets punched in the face in this entire series, not once does he get it in these movies until this part. And you know what? I'm absolutely fine with the fact that Hermione just decks him in the face. You go, girl.
I love it.
This movie is so fast-paced. I think that's another reason why I like it so much. I should also mention that I really do love the new locations of Hagrid's hut and stuff like that as compared to the first two. And I like these because you have a close-up of it, so you know that Hermione, when she sees it much later, she's like, okay, I'm the one who threw that.
I thought I just saw... Never mind.
Yeah, because she knows that she thought she just saw herself, and she's like, I should not say anything. Yeah, very smart. I mean, and the fact that she just turns to Ron, like, that just shows, like, where her feelings are, so. Don't at me, I am not one of those Hermione people. No, nope.
No. I don't care.
Harry, you do realise what tree this is?
That's not good.
Why would he not realize what tree that is? Now, I don't remember if... No, that's what happens. I remember what happens. Because Crookshanks is there. Because I think Crookshanks starts chasing after Scabbers first before all that happens, and he's there, and then he goes and he pushes up against the knot on the side of the tree. So none of this is a thing. I mean, I think there may have been a little bit of an attack, but it wasn't this action-packed and stuff. And you know what? It doesn't bother me either, because like, yeah, you could have Crookshanks, who's part Kneasel and does all this stuff, and like actually let Crookshanks have a role. But like I said, it's a lot harder to use real animals and actually get them to do a bunch of this stuff. But this is still fun. It's still a fun moment to get you ready for like this seriousness that's about to happen.
If you want to kill Harry, you'll have to kill us too.
Now, that is like the one line that I'm very conflicted on, because in the book, Ron with a broken leg gets up and puts himself in front of Harry, because that right there shows the level of friendship that those two are at. I don't know. I'm very conflicted on that line and its delivery and which way I actually prefer it, because it is such a big deal that Ron stands up and says, if you want to kill Harry, you'll have to kill us too. Like, you are gonna have to go through me, his best friend. And it kind of mirrors how Sirius and Remus are in this novel as well, or like how Rupert is with like Sirius and how Harry's like James and stuff. Like, he would put his life down to save his best friend, you know? It's very poetic that way. So I guess I'm gonna say that I don't like that Hermione gets in front of him. That's what I'm gonna do. All of this is kind of like condensed into the... Basically, this scene is like, we're gonna give you the 411. This is what happens. This is the more important portion of the scene. So I get it, rather than having to explain all of their backstories. As much as I love their backstories, I don't know. I think it's just so well acted and so tightly wound up and so fast paced. I don't know. It's really hard for me to criticize this film because I love it so much. I don't know. The conversation is great to read and you get a lot of backstory, but visually seeing it all together and how fast paced it is, and you feel the tension and you feel like, I don't know, it's a big ball of anxiety because you're just like, let's get it out. Let's get it out. We need it. Oh, when I think about it, you know, if you take all of that conversation and you cut it out, but then you like move it to somewhere else in the plot, I feel like it's one of those conversations that you could probably move like much later after all this. So I guess that's why they cut it. And so, because this is the more important information, in my opinion. It's starting to wrap up all of the mysteries and stuff. So I don't know. I want to say that I love it, but all of you are gonna give me hate. Adaptation-wise, I love it. I like that all of the Marauder stuff is saved for the books. Now, there is hearsay of whether or not HBO will actually do the TV series. If they do the TV series,
They better fucking do it right.
so it all better be in there. They don't have an excuse to cut anything out if they're doing a TV series. So... I'm telling you, all of the effects and all of the shots, this movie!
It's so beautiful!
But when you do know all of the stuff about the Marauders and everything that has to do with Lupin and how they all became Anime Guy and all this mess, that has to do with Harry's Patronus later and how he knew that it was his dad, because without knowing that his dad was Prongs and turning into the stag, he really wouldn't have known. I mean, I don't know. Logic, I guess you can figure it out, but...
I've lost what I was gonna say.
Please believe us.
I do, Miss Granger, but I'm sorry to say the word of 3 13-year-old wizards will convince few others.
Now, I have said that I love Dumbledore in this movie, but I don't think he would have, like, put Ron in so much pain. I don't think he would have put Ron in so much pain.
Sirius Black is in the topmost cell of the Dark Tower. You know the laws, Miss Granger. You must not be seen.
But, like, the way that he delivers all this, the way that he's, like, aloof-ish, that is the way that I feel like Dumbledore really is. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Also, I love this, but I need the backstory to whoever the hell is over there being unwound. So this all comes ahead, so all of the shots and imagery of time has been a constant theme, and so it finally leads up to this, and it's just I love this movie!
Love it! Ah.
Now, this plays out a little bit different because Hermione does not do this.
What are you doing?
Saving your life.
She does not do that, but Lupin does come after them. They run back to Hagrid's hut and they stay in there for a hot minute. So, again, it's an action sequence that's not necessary, but I like it because it builds up the tension. They just look like ghosts. Ugh, that black ghosts.
Ooh, I love it.
The constant ticking noise. What is that ticking noise? If I was gonna be able to make that joke at any point in time, it was gonna be this movie. Now, I will say that it is really, really, really weird that the stag didn't come out of his wand right there because it's supposed to be a corporal Patronus, but I can't complain about everything, so it's beautiful, like the way that it's shot and everything, so I can't complain too much. His hair. The one time his hair is actually like everywhere when it's supposed to be that way the entire time. Throughout all of them, he's supposed to have weird ass up hair like this, and it's hilarious because if you don't read the book, you have absolutely no idea where in the hell he got any of his money. And even in the book, I get confused because I feel like it's never even mentioned, but I think it is mentioned like once that all of his money comes from hair care products. This scene doesn't happen because Harry's like, leave, stop talking to me and leave. But I do really like this scene.
The ones that love us never really leave us. And you can always find them.
Yo, I'm tearing up. I don't know why.
In here.
I just love it. Especially since you don't get a lot of bonding with Sirius in the next film. I like that this part is in the movie, even if it's not in the book. Again, this is the first time that he's in this office, and there's not a Grindylow in there, so even in movie logic, it makes no damn sense.
Don't make no sense.
That is the most weird ass shot. Why does it have to end that way? The best movie out of all of them, and it ends like that. Okay. The ending of the actual book, Sirius writes him a letter and tells him that the firebolt was from him, and then he sends like a little slip that says, you know, as Harry's godfather, I give permission for him to go to Hogsmeade. And then when he gets back on the platform, he threatens Uncle Vernon with saying that if anything bad ever happens to me, I'm just gonna let you know that my godfather, a supposed murderer, that murderer that you've been seeing all over the news, yeah, he's my godfather, and he will come and kill you if you do anything against me. And it's just, it's so good. That is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Y'all, I can't. This is my favorite film. I'm sorry. I think especially if you compare it to the way that Chamber of Secrets dealt with and all of the things that I was angry at, I feel like adaptation-wise it was fine. Yes, I wish there was a little bit more in it, but that's gonna come with all of these adaptations. But for the script, it is so fast-paced. It just rolls off really, really well. It doesn't feel like it lags in any part. It's just, even things, if they are moved around and they're cut out, the plot holes, with the exception of the Marauders map one, that is like the biggest plot hole staring you in the face. But with the exception of that, and I don't know, I think the script is done really, really, really well. And I think there's another movie, there's another movie after this that deals with the same thing, where a lot of it's cut out, but the way that the script is adapted and written, I'm okay with it. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I really don't have much else to say. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10 because adaptation-wise, it's not as good as the Sorcerer's Stone / Philosopher's Stone. Y'all can get mad at me for the Marauders as much as you want, but adaptation-wise, I think it's pretty solid. It's a really great film. Maybe I am biased. I'm really trying not to be biased, but if I am biased, let me know in the comments. If you definitely think that this is worse than 7 out of 10, also let me know that. That's fine. We can agree to disagree, but yeah, 7 out of 10. So I'm going to put it underneath the Philosopher's Stone / Sorcerer's Stone, whatever the hell you want to call it. And I'm going to put it in between it and the Chamber of Secrets with a 7 out of 10. Next we're going to do the Goblet of Fire, and there's a lot we need to talk about with that one. So stay tuned. Bye-bye. I feel like I've said I loved everything. I don't even know what the counter is going to look like by the end of this. I don't even know if I've said I loved it enough.